Alright, okay, good evening everyone. So welcome to today's session. Okay, so as usual, what we're going to be doing is to share with you an updates of the market, highlight some of the opportunities, right? And then after which we'll have a quick Q&A, see if you guys have any questions. Okay, and then we'll basically wrap up the sessions after that. Okay, good. So let's take a look at what we have for the week. Okay, so this week over here, the important news that you probably want to take note of starting tomorrow will be the RBA cash rate statement. Okay, that's coming in from Australia. Then on Wednesday itself, we have the Bank of Canada side of things. Okay, and going into Friday, we have the NFP. Okay, so this week here, we have a couple of definitely important news coming from Australia, from the Canada, as well as the US side of things. Okay, so if you're trading any of these particular currencies that are related, okay, just be aware of potential volatility kicking in when the news are being released throughout this week itself. Right. So those are some quick update. If you're following the market, you would have realized that there's some surprise move in the market earlier today, right? The first one is gold, where it actually spike up, make a all-time high, then right now it's actually pulling back very impulsively. Okay, we'll talk about this in a while, but just want to highlight some of the things that happened earlier today, right? Other than that, we do have the crypto market. Some of the I would say smaller coins kind of had a spike, right? You can see over here on kind of spike for XRP. We had a massive sell off and then it bounced back up. Same thing here in Matic, right? Kind of have a nice little sell off. Litecoin here as well, you can see the week. Okay, so basically there are some of this non expected move that happened earlier today. We'll take a look at those and share video opportunities as highlighted. Okay, I just want to give you guys a very quick kind of summarized version of what has happened just this morning. Okay, good. So let's take a look at the dollar index. Now this week here for the dollar index perspective, I'm actually expecting a little bit of a strong side of the dollar, right? Gaining a little bit of strength as a potential pullback. So my view on the dollar index as of now is that the market may be doing a wave 4 in yellow. Okay, so we kind of had a little bit of a bounce last week. So this week here, if we can see this correction, we can expect another pushback out, right, to complete that 1, 2, 3 for wave 4 in yellow. Okay, and if you kind of take a look at the overall structure in yellow, okay, we have from this peak 1, 2, 3. Okay, and of course internally here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if wave 4 is going to be completed, we can expect more downside after that, okay, to complete the wave 5 in yellow. So this week, the directional for the dollar short term will be potentially pushing up towards the area 104.3. Okay, and if we can't see a potential sell opportunity around 104.3 area, that will give us a decent opportunity to the downside for the dollar, and of course you can see some confluence over there as well. Okay, so that's on the DXY side of things. If you go over to the euro, that's where we can expect a little bit of a downside this week with the dollar strengthening a little bit. So euro dollar, what I say here is that we may have the diagonal completed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right now we're expecting a 3-wave correction, right? So we kind of have a sell-off last week. So if you can get a corrective pullback here, coming back towards the area at 1.0920 to 1.0945, that will be a decent sell opportunity to the downside. As long as price remains below this height, right, then the target will be at 38.2, around 1.0800 area. Okay, and then after which this may actually complete the yellow wave 5, right? Because this is basically trading the pullback of wave 4. So that's the view on the euro side of things, right? So this week, if you can get a corrective pullback, we'll be interested in the sell. Okay. Pound dollar, we're basically expecting a little bit more upside over here. If we can continue to get a very nice little correction on pound dollar, obviously that would be a nice little wave 4 in orange. And then we can trade it up to the orange wave 5 before, the bigger pullback. So this week, the focus on GBP USD will be looking out for areas around here, right? So 1.2595 to 1.2565. That will be the area to see if we can get a buy trade. Okay, with a target here around 1.2770. Okay, so that will be the orange 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that will complete the bigger wave 3 in white. And then we'll expect a bigger corrective wave 4 in white. Then only the pushback up, right? So that's the view on GBP USD, right? So if we can get a corrective setup, that will be a buy trade. Okay. Now Aussie dollar as well as the dollar CAD over here, I'm basically neutral so far. Okay, Aussie dollar, we have a little bit of a topish formation, right? We have an RSI divergence over here with the FIB area. So I'm expecting kind of like a reaction to the downside, but we do not have that at the moment. So I'm not too keen to be buying, especially if we have a divergence, plus we're in a key FIB area. I'll just wait out and see how the markets are going to develop from here on. Okay, and this also kind of completed the yellow WXY, right? So we can't expect a deeper pullback anyway. So Aussie dollar, nothing much. We'll just be patient and wait it out. Same thing over here on the dollar Canadian, right? So dollar Canadian kind of completed a three-wave move, kind of respecting the channel very neatly as well. The current market is testing around the area at 1.3520. We have the 123.6 extension. We have the bottom of the channel. We have the three-wave structure. There's really no reason to be selling around this area. But if we can kind of get a corrective development here as a crawl, or even a strong little bounce up following that a correction, that would definitely give us a short-term buy trade. Okay, so this one we'll probably need to give it a little bit of time again, depending on how the market is going to develop here. Of course, similar to Aussie dollar, we're probably just going to be patient and wait it out. Okay, then we have the dollar yen. Okay, so dollar yen was a very nice little move last week, right? So we are kind of continue to expect more downside, looking at this from a structure of a WXY. As long as the market continue to respect this channel, I think we can continue to expect downside as well. Okay, temporary target right now is around 145. And of course, any kind of like corrective pullback from here on would definitely be a sell opportunity. Okay, as long as price remain below this high here around 148.5, any corrective push will be sell opportunity to downside, right? I think dollar yen quite clear, right? Basically, you just want to look for sell opportunity going forward. Any correction setup is definitely a sell. Okay. Next up we have gold, right? So gold is where today we kind of get a spike, kind of tag the all-time high, right? Kind of break all the previous high, and then the market right now is basically coming back all the way down. Okay, and that's the part where you don't want to really kind of catch those like sudden impulsive move, because sometimes this happen and you kind of get trapped in that up and down move, right? So if you kind of see a wick like that, right, kind of shallow long tail, basically what is happening on the lower time frame is the market went up, okay, and then it instantly reject down, right? So that's where you kind of see the long tail, right? So it's actually a V-shaped formation, right? So what you see here is basically a V-shaped forming, and you do not want to be trading into any of this move. Okay, so my take on this is that gold in the longer run is still bullish, right? I don't think fundamentally anything changed in gold, but of course in the short run, right, this may start to develop perhaps into something like that. So you can see from this peak, we basically may have this as an impulse. If we can get a correction, we can expect one more drop to give us this little corrective structure. Then maybe around that 50 and 618, we'll be looking for the buy. Okay, so I'm still not too keen in the sell, right? I mean, this is definitely a strong little impulsive move to the downside. Now, if we can get a correction, of course, you can consider a short-term sell, but I'll be more interested if we can look out for a buy here, right, instead of like selling it, because long-term, we're still bullish on gold, right? Nothing has changed from a macro perspective. Okay, so no trade right now, but probably closer maybe towards the end of the week, or maybe you may need to even wait until next week before you can get the buy trade set up ready for us to actually execute the upside, right? So that's on gold. Okay, crude oil actually made a pretty decent move to the downside. Okay, getting very close to that previous low target, around $72.70. My suggestion right now for crude oil is to see how price is going to react around this area, because that's the low. If you get a crawl here, this may form into kind of like a double bottom formation for upside. Okay, if you don't get a crawl and we kind of get a nice little breakthrough, then of course we're gonna continue to be bearish, and there's a good possibility, at least from a longer term perspective, then this can turn out into a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if this breaks down impulsively, then this would be the wave 5. All right. If that doesn't break down impulsively, if let's say this just kind of form a crawl here, then of course this may still be a simple ABC with a little bit of a double bottom formation for upside. Okay, so you just want to give it time and see how the market is going to develop around this area, around $72.70, right? So just be patient. Give the market some time to kind of develop further, so that we have more clue as to, like, what pattern is developing, to get some idea in terms of, are we looking for longer term upside, or we can continue to look for its sell side of things. Okay, general S&P US equities market, I think right now we're probably going to see a little bit of a push down. Okay, especially when we're seeing this pattern over here. That's not a very sustainable move to the upside, so we're basically waiting for the pullback. Okay, maybe it may come back and retest the 4,500 area. Then that area will be a good decent opportunity for a potential buy trade, right? Even if the move to the downside is going to give us a very nice little three-way structure. Okay, equity side of things, long term, quite similar to gold. Generally, I'm just going to be bullish on things, but short term here, you just want to wait for the pullback. Okay, pound yen, I'm bullish as well. Sorry, I'm bearish as well, downside. Okay, so any form of a corrective pullback, you can look for a sell. The only thing here on pound yen is that we do have this area acting as a potential support zone. So any sell trade, you may want to consider taking partial profits or even take profits around there, because we may still bounce back up, okay, depending on how the price is going to react off that area. But of course, compared to the dollar yen, I think dollar yen has like clearer downside opportunity. Okay, pound yen is also down, but we have areas that we need to clear off. Okay, so that's the part where, if you're looking at pound yen, you probably have a target that you want to put in place. Suppose the market will bounce off from there, right? So that's a pound yen. Aussie yen, I'm actually kind of neutral right now. If this forms a triangle, right, we're definitely going to be bullish on things. But triangle can be pretty tricky, because this can be D, this can be E, and it can be complete and start moving. But at the same time, what can happen is this can be part of a D move, and then an E move, and then upside, right? So I'm just going to be a little bit patient on this things here, right? This is obviously consolidating. Okay, contracting as well. So that's where the triangle structure comes in mind. If that's going to be a triangle, it's a trend continuation, right? Oftentimes a triangle is a trend continuation. So we get a push up. If this is going to be a triangle, then obviously we expect one more push. Okay? And that would then give us that 5-wave completion, right, in white. Okay, so you can see over here, 1, 2, 3, and then if this is going to be a 4th wave in triangle, then we expect one more push up. Okay. One thing that we can also look for confluence is that, of course, we are seeing a little bit of a contracting in the RSI side of things as well, right? You can kind of see that this is actually moving down, contracting together with this. So that gives us a little bit of clue to just be patient. That's a good possibility of a triangle formation right now. Okay, so in terms of like odd yen, probably we won't get any setup as of now. Okay, so just wait it out. Pound Australia, if you can get a corrective pullback here, we may get a sell trade opportunity to just simply complete this structure here, right? So we can put this in, okay? Yeah, so maybe, okay, so that we don't get overly cluttered, okay? So that's something like this, right? You can get a corrective pullback around that area, 15 and 618 fips. That's going to be a potential sell trade to the downside of the channel there, okay? So do keep a lookout on pound odd as well. I think going into maybe like Thursday or Friday, if you can get it set up, that would be a nice little sell. Okay. Euro Canadian here, a little bit tricky. Okay, we kind of get a very impulsive move last week. Obviously, you know, if we get an impulsive move and we get a correction here, we'll naturally look for a sell, right? But the only thing I'm a little bit concerned, or I would say skeptical in that potential sell, is looking at a big picture perspective. It can be a short-term sell, but then after which we may get another pushback up. So, not every pattern is the same, right? Sometimes we just want to be also getting extra information in terms of like where this pattern is developing. I put that as context, right? So this one, I'll just be a bit more patient on it. Okay, I'll naturally want to focus on more on other setups first, right? Because those setups that are clearer, that's definitely going to pay more attention on that. We want to focus on that. Euro CAD is what we call, you know, something like a an extra opportunity, right? So if we don't really have much things on the table, okay, that we can focus on, then Euro CAD would then come in, right? But if there are better ones out there, then Euro CAD will be put aside. We'll focus on better opportunities, right, out of it. Okay, so that's my take on Euro Canadian. Bitcoin over here, in terms of the futures, we kind of get a breakout, right? So again, quite similar to gold, where we kind of get a break. But gold basically kind of pull back quite strong. Okay, so let me just, that's the futures chart, right? So let me just very quickly go over to the spot market in BTC. Okay, kind of similar, right? Kind of get a massive break. Yeah, so the Bitcoin side of things, I track the futures chart instead of the spot market because basically the spot market, you know, depending on which exchange you're looking at, the price can vary quite a bit. So I'm using the futures chart to analyze Bitcoin because futures on Bitcoin is basically centralized, right? Which means that you open up all the Bitcoin futures chart, they look exactly the same, right? So what we have right now is, of course, a pretty impulsive break out of this pattern here, which is not a common thing. Okay, but anything can be possible in the market. So I'm still neutral because why? Because the move that we get right now is just an impulse, right? This can easily come back down as a V. But if this doesn't come down as a V and this basically does a corrective pullback here, we'll shift our bias towards bullish, this being the low. Then we have an impulse correction, we'll look for upside. Okay. But I'll wait for the pullback to develop correctively before we kind of commit to the directional bias of being bullish. Okay. So that's my take on it. Okay. So overall, I think there are some definitely kind of good opportunities that we can keep an eye on. Okay. Cool. Okay, so over here, Sulianto says, nice ride on dollar yen last week. Yeah, I managed to write off the dollar yen pretty neat as well. Where is it? I'll probably remove that drawing already. Yeah, I'll probably remove that drawing. But last week, yeah, if you guys have been following, you know, on social media as well, you probably, I remember I shared that publicly. Let me just double check. Okay, I think I recall I did share, you know, publicly some of the trade ideas with you guys as well on social media. Did I not? Oh, probably not. Probably just the mailing list subscribers, I think. Yeah, so yeah, anyway, for those of you who managed to catch the dollar yen, that was a pretty nice little trade, right? Okay, I see some of you are interested in a couple of different pairs. Euro pound. I need to clean this up a little bit first. Okay, we got a bearish move and basically break down quite strongly, right? Okay, let it load up a little bit. Okay. Good. I think on the daily would give a little bit of clarity as well. Okay, from this impulsive break, what we can potentially expect over here is this itself may have to complete. Okay, and basically this is where the high is, so this is a one wave down, this is the move up. With this impulsive leg, we're probably gonna break that low and see a little bit more downside, right? At least from a daily perspective, that's pretty clear. So going down to the 4-hour point of view, that's where you want to look out for, any kind of like pullback. Okay, not the nicest pattern looking kind of chart, but potentially this may be turning into a 5-wave structure that looks something like that. Okay, I mean, like wave 2 seems to be a little bit short. Wave 3, I mean, the nature and the characteristics of Euro Pound is like that, right? But this is definitely considered impulsive move in terms of Euro Pound, right? In the relationship of Euro Pound movement, I think that's definitely impulsive, right? So if you kind of look at that, and right now expecting wave 3 to have potentially completed, then the wave 4 pullback would likely be somewhere around that zone, right? And then we can expect another drop. Okay, so I think overall bearish on Euro Pound. Okay, so any potential corrective pullback would definitely be the sell side of things. Okay, Kiwi Cat, Kiwi Franc. Kiwi Cat. Kiwi Cat, I don't really like this right now. We do have a little bit of a top area here, right? So maybe we may see price actually do like retest a little bit on the upside and then maybe down, right? I don't like this development as of now. This seems potentially developing into something like that. Okay. So you might want to give it more time, because for this to develop, okay, it requires time. And then the idea is we haven't really kind of tested this specifically, right? We came very close but haven't really tested. So most of the time the market would like to do something like that. It might even break that trend line and then go back up. Okay. So don't trade the trend line for now, right? I don't think that would be something you want to trade. It's just a visual guidance that potentially we may see like this move. Okay, yeah. So that's my take on the Kiwi side of things. Okay. Euro franc. Euro franc, we are getting close to that area, so definitely you want to keep an eye, right? Whenever we are kind of approaching a key areas, just wait for a clear pattern to develop. Whether this is going to be a crawl, then of course you get a setup, or this is just going to be a V-shaped bounce, then you wait for the next setup, right? So right now I can't say anything because we want to obviously see how it's going to develop, but this is definitely an important area. Okay, because in the past you can see how it bounced off nicely, right? So it's coming back, retesting that zone. Definitely you want to keep an eye on how price is going to develop there. Okay. Kiwi franc, we were expecting that break, that did not happen, right? So this continued to move higher, but you can see how it moved overall. To be honest, this entire piece did not change any of the structure. To me, I'm still expecting this downside, right? In fact, with that break of this, kind of can push back down. This seems a little bit corrective right now. We can expect some kind of a expanding or running structure developing, right? So what I mean by that is something like this. Okay, so we have this breaks above that top, but then kind of like pulling back right now. Okay, so you can actually put in a trend line over here. You can see this as a potential corrective setup. And the idea here is you can look out for a breakout here. Okay, and the expectation of this is basically either it's going to be an expanding flat where you can expect price to break this area. Okay, so your wave C would be just slightly below that, or this can turn into a running flat, right? Running flat basically means that it breaks down, it doesn't really come and retest that, it turns out into something like that, and then it goes, right? Yeah, so flat structure is not the easiest to anticipate, but for now I think that's the closest pattern that we can plan out for. Okay, So definitely still downside, right? This entire pattern structure doesn't look like a buy right now. Okay? So we're still expecting the downside. The question is just like how far can this drop before potentially going back up? Then that will be your corrective structure. Then this will be an impulse, correction, impulse. Okay, so that's the take on Kiwi franc. Okay, dollar franc. Uh, Really nothing there. Right? I mean, this is definitely a key area. Okay, because if I kind of take FIPS, measuring that, you can see the key area, right? 100, 123. So just wait it out, right? Wait it out for the market to see how it's gonna react here first. Yeah. So to me, dollar franc probably just want to be patient on that. Okay. Kiwi dollar, very similar to the Aussie dollar perspective. Okay, we're expecting this to form some kind of a crawl for a drop. It did not, right? But basically, after this development, it goes up a little bit, and then now it's doing something here as well. So this is definitely similar to Aussie dollar. You have the RSI divergence as well. So obviously, you don't want to be buying into a divergence, right? If you are looking to sell, you may want to be conservative and wait for the break of the neckline. Okay, then maybe a pullback, that will be a sell opportunity. Okay, but it takes time, right? So all this here probably not something within this week. Okay, you probably just want to give it time, develop, prove to you that yeah, you want to go in a certain way, then only you commit to that trade. Okay. Next I see here is silver. Yeah, silver definitely you can consider looking at the sell side of things. So right now the market kind of tested at 123, which is also basically the key area, right? 100% and 123, that's the zone. So we're definitely expecting more downside. Kind of update this FIP here, 50% and 618, somewhere around that zone, right? Yeah, so silver, if you're looking at it, you might want to look out for a potential short-term sell. Okay, towards the downside, right? Then for the market to basically kind of retest this area here. Okay, yeah, so silver potentially you get a short-term sell trade opportunity for the week itself. Cat yen, cat yen. Cat yen's a bit tricky at the moment. Okay, this one can be another smaller flag. Really not the nicest looking. I mean, we get a big flag, okay, which we haven't really tested, so this can really come down all the way. It doesn't need to as well. So if this forms here, something like that, you know, short term, I would say you can consider upside. Yeah, cat yen seems a bit tricky. Okay, some other yen pairs are a little bit clearer, but cat yen, my priority, kind of like my first expectation is this probably will form a crawl. Then we can expect the upside, right? Now this upside here can can just bounce off here and then just continue to do something like that. Potentially this is possible as well, okay? But again, it's we don't it's no use to be kind of forecasting all the way so far into the future. But I think in the nearest term possible is if we can get something like that, then of course we can anticipate this upside first, right? Yeah, so that's on the Canadian yen side of things. Okay, so of course you can take a bit of FIPS to give you some reference point area, right? So the 100% will be there. Around 107.75 zone. Okay, yeah. So some of them we shared. Index. Okay. China market A50. It's breaking that low. It's pretty bearish right now. I think that break may bring us down here. Okay, I would say it's not looking great. I think there's a good chance this will probably retest the low. Okay, so this China market, right? So I think bearish for now. This break seems pretty potentially can carry momentum, right? So I would say this will probably just do something like that. Okay, and then once we enter that zone, you can keep an eye on it again. But moving forward near term, I think there's still a little bit more downside on A50. Okay, Hang Seng is definitely also bearish, right? Yeah. So that's the internal structure here. You can see, right? 1, 2, 3. Let me just very quickly change that. And right now we'll be then looking at it from a perspective of just roughly, okay, just to pull and show you the visual guidance of things. There's a good possibility this will probably continue down as well, right? Quite similar to A50, the China market itself. I think Chinese market is bearish. Yeah. Okay, overall, I think there's still more downside, right? So if you're looking at like Hong Kong and China, then you want to focus on the downside. Okay. I see a question here. Trying to subscribe to the Premier Analysis. Yeah, if you face challenge, drop me an email. Okay, I'll be better to assist you directly via email. Kiwi yen. Yeah, okay. Kiwi yen, potentially you can consider that sell. You know, we kind of have this topish formation, right? And then of course, we have this little pattern here with the crawl pattern internally here as well. So of course, the sell, then your target would then be here, right? Okay, so we expect something like that. Okay, so if you're looking at Kiwi yen to downside, yeah, I think that's okay, right? That will be probably the high directional, high probability directional bias anyway. Okay. Euro New Zealand. Okay, Euro New Zealand, you want to just be patient right now. Okay, we're really testing this area now. Let's see how it's gonna react off this zone first, right? Is it gonna be a crawl? It can be a break, right? You can break it, but if it's gonna break very slowly, then that's a fake break potentially and a crawl. So let's just see how it goes, right? If it breaks off impulsively, then we'll be bearish, okay? But right now it's just testing it, so you just leave it, see how it's gonna react off that zone. Yeah. Good. Okay, I think Aussie Cat we cover it already. Aussie Cat. Did we? Okay, maybe not. Okay, Aussie Cat. Okay. It may be turning out quite similar to Euro. From pound dollar, right? So pound dollar here you can see we're expecting this correction in the upside, right? So if I bring you back to the Australia Canadian chart, okay, we may be seeing something similar, right? I mean, this can be the corrected structure in 3. Okay, and we may be expecting a little bit more upside from here. Yeah, so that is very possible. I've got to put in some labels to give you that overall perspective of what I'm seeing. Okay. So this one here, I'll change the degree a little bit. something like that, right? Whether this is completed or this may turn into a bigger corrective pattern, you just need to, follow as the market continue to develop. But potentially what we're looking here is we have the WX and we're expecting maybe one more upside, right? So the internal is 3-wave here. This is a potential internal 3-wave, okay? And that's where we're expecting a little bit more upside. Okay, the only question is this internal complete, or is this gonna come back down to form a bigger correction before the upside? Okay, now we won't know for sure, right? So the idea here is we have a sense of directional bias. Okay, then of course you want to wait for the setup that is valid according to your strategy, according to your plan, and then once you get a setup, you take it, you manage to trade accordingly, and see if the market development kind of follow what you anticipate, right? If it doesn't, you manage it even more actively and things like that. Okay, so that's the entire process of it, right? It's not just about entering the trades itself. Cool. Okay, Isaac asked what's my email. You can drop it to my work email. Okay, so if you drop it to my work email, it's support@thesmart.academy. Okay, you can also find my email on YouTube if you are watching it right now on YouTube. Okay, you go to the YouTube channel under the About section, you can actually find the email. Okay, yeah, so if you need help and assistance on the trading those premium analysis, just drop me an email, right? I think easier for me to kind of follow up with you from there as well. Okay, yeah, so I hope that's clear for today. Definitely a couple of opportunities within the week, but of course you want to take note that as we're going into the end of the year, we're currently, I would consider the first week of December, right? But if you go into like third week, fourth week of December, you just want to take things a little bit slower already, right? Because the market will probably be a little bit quiet as we go into end of the year as well. Okay, so good. That's all from me. Just very quick update on this week's live trading room on everythingtrading.com. Okay, so for those of you who are not aware, I do live trade during the London market session at everythingtrading.com, right? So you can actually go to the website everythingtrading.com, go and click register if you haven't done it, right? You need an account. You can actually click register and then just join for the free one. Okay, because at the moment you can actually join the session for free, right? So you can just sign up for a free account. Once you sign up for a free account, you'll be able to log in with your particulars, right? So let me just very quickly show you. Once you are logged in, okay, you'll be able to see the dashboard, and you can see all the live trading sessions that are scheduled. Okay, there are a couple of different traders doing different sessions as well. Okay, so you can see over here UK sessions, right, in different languages. Then you have the New York session conducted by Daniel. Okay, and for me this week, because I'm traveling, there won't be any session. But my next session is gonna be on the 12th of December, as well as the 14th of December, right? So the following next Tuesday, okay, as well as next Thursday, London session. So in terms of Malaysia time zone is 3:30 to 4:30, 3:30 to 4:30. Okay, so at the moment they are doing it for free. Okay, so just make full use of it. Go and register your account under everythingtrading.com, and then you'll be able to access this dashboard, right? Of course, you can right now also go and explore everything that's within it. If you're very new to trading, of course, they have some basic fundamental courses as well. Okay, so you can actually explore this platform as of now, right? Now, there's no promise that it's going to be free forever, right? So right now it's free. I strongly encourage you guys to actually take full advantage of it. Okay, so yeah, that's all from me. All the best for the week, and we'll see you guys next week. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Okay, that's all. See you guys. Bye bye.